Hi, this is Raymond Rodriguez, and you're watching College of Architecture channel. In this video, you will learn the 2D basic of AutoCAD, specifically on how to use the classic draw tools, modify, dimension, layers, properties, and zoom. Now let's select the 2D classic option from your workspace, which you have just made from the previous video. And since you already have an existing toolbar in here, you might as well skip from using the pull down menu, and instead of selecting tools and toolbars, all you need to do now is right click in this vacant space and select the toolbar that you want to add, in which we shall be selecting the zoom toolbar. Now let's talk about the draw tools, starting with the line, or you could type in L for line and just click anywhere you want. And since my ortho mode is off, I might as well press this one or simply press F8 so I can produce a straight line. And I'll type the value, let's say 5, and type another 5 in here, and another 5, and wait, 5, and another 1, 5, and press spacebar or enter or escape. So basically, I have just made a square using the command, which is line. Second, we have here the construction line. Simply click this or type in XL, press enter or spacebar, and let's select H for horizontal, and we just select it here at the midpoint and press spacebar or enter or escape to end the command. Now let's do it again. You can press spacebar instead for activating the previous command, and let's select V for vertical, and you can have an infinite vertical line. Now let's press spacebar again. Let's select A and type in 45 for the reference angle, and you can select it in here and press spacebar, enter, or escape. Now let's create a polyline, or you could simply type PL. Click somewhere here, and let's type the value of 5, 5 again, and 5, and 5, and enter. Now, what's the difference between a line and a polyline? As you can see, whenever I select this square, all lines are being selected. Compared to this one, I'm just selecting a particular line segment. Because a polyline is considered one object, even though there are many segments, it's still a single object, compared to using a line in which each segment is considered a single object. Next, let's create a rectangle, and we could type in REC, and select here the first point, and we could type in dimension. Let's type in 5 and 5. And there you go, your rectangle. Now let's create a circle. Let's type in C or press this one and click somewhere here. And for the radius, let's type in 2.5. Let's create another circle. Let's click somewhere here and let's type in D or select this and put 5 as your value. Now let's make a polygon. You can select this one, or you could type in POL for polygon. And let's say the number of sides is 5. And the center would be the center of this circle. And let's say it's inscribed in circle. And click here. So inscribed means the polygon is inside the circle. So let's do it again. Enter the number of sides, 5. The center, it would be here. And let's select this one. And for the radius, let's pick this one. So keep in mind that every time you make a polygon, inscribed means you are measuring the radius from the center of the circle towards the endpoint of a polygon. However, for the circumscribed, you are measuring the center of the circle towards the edge of the line, which is actually perpendicular or tangent to the circle. Now let's make an arc. You could type ARC on the command window or simply select this button. And for the first point, click here. And for the second point, somewhere here and here on the last point. You can adjust this by clicking this using the left key of your mouse, and you can drag it up or down. It's up to you. And press escape. Now let's do it again. And of course, select in here. And let's say type in E for the end. And for the center, you could click it here at the midpoint. Now, if you want the arc to be upside down, all you need to do is press and hold the control key. So you'll have the arc upside down, on the other way around. Now let's do it again. Press the spacebar to activate the previous command, and you could type in C for the center. And for the start point, click here, and you can just drag your crosshair to produce an arc. You could also press the control and hold it, control key and hold it to make it on the other way around. Now, if you want the arc to be in between 90, 180, and 135 degrees, is that it? Or rather 270? All you need to do is uncheck the ortho mode, so you can have an arc in between 90 degrees and 90 to 180 and 180 to 270 and so on. And just press control and hold it to do it the other way around. Now let's make an ellipse. You could simply select this button, or you could type in EL. And for the first point, pick somewhere here and make sure the ortho mode is on. And of course, for the diameter, let's type in 5. And for the radius, let's type in 2. Okay. Now let's do it again. Press the spacebar to activate the previous command. And now let's press C for the center point of the ellipse. So let's click here, and this is the center. Now we shall be typing in the first radius for the ellipse, since the ellipse has 2 radius, of course, or 2 diameters as well. Let's type in 2.5. And for the second radius, we shall be typing 2. Now we have 2 identical ellipses, but the method are basically different, wherein in this one, we did provide the diameter and 1 diameter and 1 radius, starting at the 2 pick points, and while for this one we started at the center having 2 radius. Now let's make an ellipse arc, or simply type in this one. Click this toolbar, and let's use the second method, which starts at the center. So let's click C for center of the ellipse arc. And of course, for the first radius, let's type in 2.5 once again. And for the second radius, let's type in 2. Now for the parameter, start angle, notice here, you could see the 0 degrees angle, while here you have the 90 degrees, and here we have the 180 degrees and 270. So let's start at 0 degrees. Now you can drag it. And of course, if you want to have an arc, ellipse arc, which is in between those angles, all you need to do is turn off the ortho mode, so you can have an ellipse arc in between those 90, 180, 270, and 0 degrees angle. Now for plans that needs to have revision, you use the Rev Cloud. Simply select this toolbar and click anywhere you want to. Let's say I'll be marking this one. So I'll be having my first pick point in here, and just drag my mouse to where I want to, and that's it. Next, we have the spline, or SPL. Let's type in SPL for the spline, and let's have our first point in here, then here, and here, and here, and here. And press escape or enter or spacebar if you want to close the command. So basically, the spline is actually a curved line. Next, if you want to have multiple points, you could type in point or click this button. And what does it do? It only provides us a node. So in case you'll be having a line, you can click here on the point that you have provided, because it is now considered as a node. From those points that you have provided, you can now snap on it. as long as the node is checked on the snap node setting. Now, before we continue to the next command, let's type in first 3 lines in here. Let's make the ortho mode on. Let's type in 1 for the value. And another one in here with 1 as the value. And again. And if you're going to make walls, all you need to do is type in ML for multi-line, which will give you 2 parallel lines simultaneously. So let's select J for the justification, and let's select top. And for the scale, let's say 0.10, and let's click in here and drag the mouse here, and let's put the value 2, and let's do it again. Let's select J one more time, 0 for the justification, and for the scale it's going to be 0.15, and the value is 2 again. And next we have for the justification of the third, let's select bottom, and for the scale, say it's 0.20, and click here and drag it here at number 2. Now, as you can see, the multi-line will help you in creating walls easily by providing you 2 parallel lines, and the justification only shows where the line would be put. Is it down, or is it both up and down, in which the grid line or your reference line would be at the center, or if you select bottom, then the parallel line would be placed on the top. Okay, and of course for the scale you have the 0.15, 0.10, 0.15, and 0.20. Now before we continue, let's make 4 rectangles. One is actually open, so let's use line first. Let's type in L. Let's click here, type the value 2. Here we have 2 again, and 2, and let's say 1.9. And enter or spacebar or escape. Now on the next side, let's use REC or rectangle to create 3 squares which are close. So let's check dimension. For the length we have 2, and for the width you could type in 2. If your command window doesn't have any value yet, just type in 2 and simply drag it in here, and that's it, and create more 2 squares. And dimension we have 2 and 2. Just press spacebar if you already have the dimension, and another one. Dimension we have 2 and 2. There you go. Now let's talk about this next command, which is going to be useful for applying materials on your 2D plans, such as roof tiles or let's say bricks and other materials. Okay, so let's type in BH or H, or simply select this button. So let's type in H, then select this one, hatch. Let's add pick points. Okay, let's pick in here. The problem is you don't see anything here in it yet, so you might as well select this one to replace the pattern. let's say select this one, and let's select the preview. Okay, so that's it. But in case you're not seeing the uh, the lines, maybe the scale is too big or too small for it, because you could actually change the scale. Let's say let's type in 10 and see what happens next. So if that happens in your drawing, all you need to do is adjust the scale. Either you increase or decrease the scale and select preview. And you can also rotate the angle of it. Let's say you're using this pattern for your roof tiles. Let's change this to 45 degrees. And let's make a preview with it. And there you go. And let's change it one more time to 135 degrees. And let's see if it's going to be an horizontal pattern. And that's it. And press OK. Now, let's do it again and add pick points once again in here. And if you want to change the pattern once again, just click in here and you can select other patterns. Let's try this one. And let's have it on a preview. And you might as well increase or decrease the scale either. So let's say I'll make it 0.1 and see what happens to it. Okay, so it means I need a more smaller scale. So let's try typing 0.05 and preview. And you can change the angle once again. Let's make it 0 if you want. And there you go. And press OK. Now, if you want to have a gradient, a color, you might as well select this button or type in gradient or hatch as well. And just instead of selecting hatch, you select the gradient. Now, you can add pick points here. And you can either select one color or two color. Let's select only one. And let's have it on a preview. Still, you can rotate it, the angle of it, say 90 degrees. And there you go. This is actually being used when you're making windows in your plans. And press enter or OK. Now let's make another one in here. But the problem is when you add pick points on a polygon or boundaries that is not close, as you can see here, a close boundary cannot be determined. It's because your polygon or your boundary or your object has a gap in it, an indication or a gap in it. So if that's the case, try to close it. Try to touch it by left clicking your mouse and just drag it in here. And let's make the command again. Let's type in H. And now we select gradient for two colors if you want. Add pick points in here. And there you go. Press OK. And that's how you use the boundary hatch and gradient. Now let's try the command region. But before that, we need first to make a figure in here. Let's make a rectangle by using the command line. So you type in L, click somewhere here, And of course, let's type in, let's say, 0.6 by 1.2 by zero point 0.6 again, and 1.2. Enter, spacebar, or escape. Now, what do we have in here? We have in here 4 different line segments. And as you can see, in order for me to select them, I need to select them one at a time, and they are considered 4 different line segments. Now, if we type in region or REG, or just click this toolbar and select this and press enter or spacebar, it seems that nothing has happened. But when I now select this object, all of the lines are now being selected. It doesn't matter where I click, it is all being highlighted because it's now considered as a one object, one entity, because of the command region. Now, before we move on to the next command, let's do first this one. Let's make an identical rectangle. Click somewhere here, and let's type in D for the dimension. Let's say it's 0.6 by 1.2. Click here, and let's create another one, REC, and let's click here. Let's select dimension. For D, we have 0.6 for the length, and for the width, we have 1.2, and there you go. Another one, let's make a smaller square, rather, using the command rectangle. Let's click somewhere here. Let's click the dimension, and let's type in 0.5 by 0.5. Again, let's do it again. Here, let's select in here, and dimension once again is 0.5 by 0.5. One more time, let's make this 2. And for here, let's make a circle having a radius of, let's say, 0.25. Okay, there you go. Now we can start the command make a block, or make it as a block. And as you can see, they are all different objects, right? Isn't it? So I need to select them one by one, because I can select them rather one by one. It's because they are all different entities. Now, if I make them a block, let's say I'll be grouping this one, and this one. So let's try it. Let's select this command, make block. Let's say, let's put a name. It's called try1. Just trying it. And let's select the object. Select in here. And remember, you have selected delete. So when I press OK, after selecting the insertion point or base point, the object has been deleted. Now let's do it again for the second block that we're going to make. So let's make a block using this one, and let's name it try2. And let's convert it to block. let's select this one. And of course, you can select the object, select this one, and for the insertion point, we click in here. Okay. Now for the third one, let's select retain, and let's rename it, or rather name it try 3. Select the object and select this one and press OK. And for the insertion point, let's pick this. So what happened is, in the first one, we have selected deleted. So the basically the first block that we have made was being deleted. Now, this second object, notice that it's now considered as a one single block, right? Because the one that I have previously selected is convert. So I already convert the whole 3 objects into one single object. But for this one, it is still a 2 different object because I selected retain. So the property of these 2 objects has been retained. Now that's for the making a block. Now let's move on with the insertion of a block. Let's insert a block right now. Using this one, insert a block. Now let's try the try one that we have made. Did you remember this one? Okay. So don't touch anything in here. Just make it as is and press OK. And you can select it in here and paste it somewhere here. And of course, and as you can see, the crosshair is on the midpoint of the chair because that's where we pick the insertion point of this block. Try 1. Now, let's do it again. And let's select try 2. Okay. Now you have the try 2. And here we have selected the insertion point. So the crosshair is near the bottom right midpoint of the chair. And let's do it one more time. And let's select try 3. And press OK. Now you have here the block number 3, which is named try 3. And of course, this one, as you can see, there are 2 different objects. But for this one, this is now already, all of them are considered a block. And that's how you make and insert a block. Now let's move on with making a text. We could type in txt for your text, and for the starting point, let's click somewhere here. And for the height, let's make it 0.2. You press 0.2 if you don't have any values yet. And for the rotation angle, let's specify 0. And of course, don't forget to press the caps lock. And let's type in the letters. Let's say and you could click anywhere you want. That's it. And you could type in again, but if you want to cancel the command, just press escape. And of course, you can simply edit it by simply double clicking in here and selecting anything that you want to delete or change. Let's say I'll be deleting this one, so I'll be highlighting it and I'll be pressing delete. So that's it. for the text. So let's do it again one more time. Let's type in text. And for the starting point, let's click in here. And of course, same height. For the rotation angle, let's change it to 90 degrees if you want to. So let's type in try to. And there you go. The text is now inverted in 90 degrees. Moving on, let's make a table by selecting this one. And let's say for the table, let's make it for the rows, let's make it only 4. And bear in mind, it should be checked in the specify insertion point. Make it as is, including this one or this one. The only thing that you need to change is basically the number of columns or the number of data rows, depending on how many you like. And let's press OK. So we can press in here. We can slightly change it. Of course, if you want to change the distances of the, let's say, of the rows and columns, all you need to do is drag this one. And as you can see, the sizes of the columns are changing. It gets wider or thinner depending on how you drag it. You can also do it on the rows. You can change the sizes of it by dragging here, simply using the left button of your mouse. You can drag it here. Okay. You can also change the size of a particular column or rows if you want to. Let's say I'll be clicking this one, and of course I'll be touching this and I'll be dragging it. So it means I have only adjusted the sizes of this column. And if I want to change the sizes of these rows, all I need to do is drag this one down. Of course, you might as well delete or add columns or rows if you want to. Let's say delete rows. Okay. Since let's press Control Z to undo it. And let's click in here. Since this one is activated and press this, I was able to delete the entire row of row number 5. Okay. Now, let's say I'm selecting this and I want to delete the entire column. Then I'll be selecting this one, delete columns. And of course, if you want to add more columns or more rows, all you need to do is select this one. You can either insert to the left or right for the columns. Let's say, let's insert to the right side. Now you have on the right side, we have an additional column. And let's insert an additional column to, rather, an additional rows at the bottom of row number 5. So let's select this one. Okay, insert row below. Now let's type in letters in here. Let's say I'll be clicking in here and typing in title. Okay. Now I want to resize this Let's drag this one to make the rows larger so you can see the difference of what I'm doing. Now let's select this title. If you select this title, this is actually placed in the middle center. So if you want to change this, all you need to do is select in here for the top left, top center, top right. We have the bottom right, bottom center, bottom left, middle left, and there you go. You have it on the middle center. Now that's it for the tables. Now let's save all of the work that we have done. Let's select here file, save as, then of course let's put it in drive D. Let's make a folder for it, and actually you already have it on the AutoCAD tutorial. You have the drawing one for the first lesson. Now let's name this drawing 2 for the second lesson, and let's press save. And if you want to see all the things that you have done, just type in zoom, Z enter, and E enter, or simply press this one, zoom extends. Once again, press save or Control S. And that's about it for the AutoCAD Classic Draw Tools. Now, before we go to the modified tools, let's discuss first the zoom tools. Let's type in Z, enter, then W for window, and of course you can select this if you want to. And let's have 2 pick points and observe the crosshair. I'll be picking that for the first pick point and here on the second pick point. And anything that goes inside those 2 pick points will be magnified. And of course, for the zoom dynamic, we have here zoom dynamic. It actually first displays the entire drawing, and from the entire drawing, you could magnify a portion of it. So let's try this one. Z, enter, and D for dynamic. Now we have here the small box for the zoom dynamic, and let's click in here and let's drag the size of the box. And when it displays X, you position the box. And when you're done, all you have to do is press spacebar, and it will be magnified. Now we have in here next is the zoom scale. Let's type in, or let's select this one, Z, and it's actually asking a scale. So if I want it to be magnified 2 times, all I need to do is type in 2 for the value, and it is magnified twice. And if you want to undo it, Z, enter, and P for previous. Now, if you want to zoom a particular object, you might as well use this. It's for the zoom object. Let's say I want to magnify this particular square. Let's click in Z, enter, and O for object. So let's select the object and enter. So that particular object is being magnified. So you can also use this, zoom out. You can still use it one more time. It's limitless. The zoom out and zoom in is actually equivalent to the scroll of your mouse, wherein you can just scroll it up and down to zoom in and zoom out. Now you have, of course, the zoom extent, which you already know how. Let's click this for the zoom extent. It actually zooms all, or shows you all the drawing from your model space. However, for the zoom all, it also zooms everything, including your UCS. So that's it for the zoom tools. Now let's move on with the modified tools. And before we start, kindly press Ctrl A and then delete. If you want to undo it, once again, press Ctrl Z. Now, if you want to use this command, which is similar to delete, all you need to do is type in erase or select this icon, which is erase, and select anything that you want to be deleted, and press the spacebar. However, you can also use the selection method, which is the crossing if you want, if you still remember, and press spacebar or enter. Now, if you want to delete it all, press this again, of course, and you could type in all and spacebar. That's it for the command erase or E. So what I want you to do now is save the file save as, and type in for the name drawing 3. Now before we start to the next command, let's first click the zoom extents. Then let's create a line in here. Type in L for line, pick somewhere here, put the value 2 and 2 upwards, then C for close. Now for the command copy or CO, you could simply type here CO in the command window. You select this one, all of it, then click somewhere here as your base point, and here for the second base point. And of course you can press escape. That's for the command copy. Now for the mirror command, type in MI or simply select this icon. Then we select this object and press enter or spacebar again. And for the mirror line, you could select somewhere here and drag it down and click in here. And it's asking whether you should delete or erase the original object, and the answer would be no. So let's press spacebar or enter. Now if we do it again and select this triangle and have it here as your mirror line and drag it down. Now if you select yes or Y, you would basically delete the original object. Moving on, let's copy this triangle by typing in CO, click somewhere here and paste it in here. And of course, let's try the command offset, which is this one, or you could type in O. And for the value, let's put 0.10. And let's click this one. And if you place the crosshair in here, it would be, the line would be offset inside the triangle, as well as with this one and this one. Now, obviously this line is 3 different line segments. Now, what if I use the command rejoin and select all of it? It now becomes one single object, isn't it? But the problem is, since I've already rejoined this object, the command offset wouldn't work on this figure. So let's try it. Let's type in O, and for the value it's 0.10, so just press spacebar and let's click it, and as you can see, it is being disabled. It won't allow you to do the command or execute the command that you want. So if you like, you could make a triangle using a P line starting at this point. Let's type in 2 and 2 upwards and C for close. It's almost the same. Now let's try the command offset. Now I am allowed to execute the command. See, I can offset the line inwards or outwards. However, if I use a bigger distance, let's say the offset distance is 1. Let's try it. Let's see if it would still work. And it doesn't work anymore inside. You can offset it outside the triangle, but not inside the anymore, because the offset distance that you have chosen or inputted on the command window is too large, okay, for the existing object. Next, we make a rectangle in here. Type in REC and place it somewhere here, and click and select D for the dimension, and press 2 for the distance, and another 2 in here, and click somewhere here. Now let's try the command array. We have 3 commands for AR, which is the rectangular array, the path array, and the polar array. But let's do first the rectangular array. So let's type in AR, select this object, and press rectangular, which is already default. So you might as well press the space bar. Then here it goes. Now, if you want to add more objects on the column side, drag this one, the arrow here. You can drag it to add or decrease the number of columns. However, if you want to add or decrease the number of rows, you might as well drag this arrow up or down. Drag it, press it, and there you go. You are adding more rows when you drag it upwards, and decreases the number of rows when you drag it downwards. Now, for the spaces, you can drag it or change it by holding onto this arrow, and you can type the spaces. Let's say I'll type in 2, and let's do it again. Let's type in 4, and for this one, let's type in 4 again. And that's how you do it for the rectangular array. Now let's try making a path in here, or a line, by typing in L, and for the distance, let's say it's going to be 10. Let's make a spline as well. Type in SPL, click somewhere here. Of course, make sure the ortho mode is off. And do this, click there for the second point, and click here for the third point, and press spacebar or enter. Now let's make a circle. Type in C and click in here on the endpoint, and let's say the value is 0.5, as well as in here. Let's make it 0.5. And another one, let's make a circle in here, and let's say the value is 0.5 again. And let's make a line in here. Make sure it's in ortho mode and type in 3 for the value and press enter. Now let's do the AR command. Type in AR, select this object, and select path, and we could select this one. And of course, we could adjust this, and if we adjust the distance, the number of circle decreases. And if we decrease the distance of the circle, then its number increases. That's for the path, of course. And let's do it one more time, because we can do it as well for curved lines. All you need to do is drag it. Then I want you to type in AR again and select this circle, and of course select polar, and for the axis of rotation you could select this endpoint. And for the number of items, if you want to increase or decrease it, select the items. Let's say we have 6 circles right now. Let's make it 8. And for the fill angle, you could change it from 360 to 270 to 90 if you want to. And to make it more accurate, you can select this one. If you want the angle to be 270, just type in 270, and the circles would fill in the 270-degree angle. However, if we change it to, let's say, 180, then you could only fill in the 180-degree angle. But of course, if you want to manually do it, just simply turn this ortho mode off and drag this one, so you can add more circles if you want. And you could also adjust the angle of rotation. So it's basically up to you. Now let's go to the command, which is move. You simply need to type M or select this button, which is move, and select the object or objects that you want to move. And since this is considered 3 line segments, all you need to do is select them all. If you want to move all of them, then press enter or spacebar, and you have to be mindful on where you want to pick the triangle. Let's say I want to attach the endpoint of this, so I'll be clicking on the endpoint, and if I want to connect it on the midpoint of this square, I need to be sure that it snaps at the midpoint of this line. Now let's move on to the rotation or RO. Let's say I want to move this again. Let's place it in here. And if I want to rotate this one, let me type RO for rotate. Then I would be clicking in here for my base point. Then I could simply type the angle of rotation, or you could click the polar tracking. So if I want to rotate it on a 90-degree, I just need to activate this. And there you go. I was able to rotate it at 90 degrees. Once again, let's do it. I would be touching it in here. And there you go. Okay. I am able to rotate the triangle. I could also do it in here if you want. If I touch it in here. Okay. And that's how you rotate an object. Now let me copy this object twice. And if I use the command scale or SC for scale, I would be selecting this one and I would be clicking in here. And for my scale factor, 0.5, so it means the triangle would be smaller 1/2 of or 50% of its original size. Now, if I do it again, click here, and for the scale factor, let's type in 2. It would be larger twice. And that's how you use the scale command. Now let's talk about the command stretch. So instead of clicking this icon, which is stretch, you might as well just select the lines or line that you want to stretch and simply drag it on the endpoint. And there you go. Press Ctrl C. And if you want to stretch both of them, just select them, the two lines, both at the same time, and you would be able to stretch it. Moving on, let's create a couple of lines. Press L and copy for, let's say, 4 times. And let's make another line in here. And let's say I want to cut these lines. All I need to do is type in TR or select this one, which is trim. Let's type in TR and press spacebar or enter. Then select this one as your cutting edge. Then if I want to delete all of this excess line, I just need to select it. And that's how you use the command trim. Now, let's move the cutting line and put it back somewhere here. And let's say I want to extend those lines. I might as well select this icon, which is extend, or type in EX for extend. And I would be selecting this as my boundary edge. Then, of course, I would be selecting these 4 lines in which I would want to be extended. Now let's talk about the command break at point. And as you can see, when I did select this line segment, you can see the 3 nodes, which are the 2 endpoints and 1 midpoint, which basically means that this is a single line segment. So if I tend to move it, I would be moving the whole line, isn't it? Let's press Ctrl Z. So what I want to do now is to divide it into 2. So I would be selecting break at point and be selecting this one. And I want to divide it at the middle. So I would be selecting the midpoint. And when I click it right now, I am only selecting half of it because it's already divided into two line segments. And that's for the break at point. Now, if you want to break a line at a point and have a gap on it, you need to click this command, which is break. So let's try it in here for this line. Let's say I'll be clicking this command, which is only break, and click this one, and I would be selecting that. And as you can see, the line has been split into two halves, but there is a space between it. Now, if I want the lines to be joined again, I would be selecting this one, which is join, or I would be typing in J and be selecting those two lines, then press the space bar or enter. Then the line has been joined once again. Next, we move on to the command chamfer or CHA, but before that, let's make a square using a rectangle and type in D for the dimension, and let's have a value of 2 and 2 for the first and second distances, and let's click in here. Now copy it at the bottom and copy both of it 2 times at the side. Next, you can select the icon, which is chamfer, or type in CHA. And when you select D and the distance is 0 for the first and second distance, and you select both of this, obviously nothing will happen. However, if you execute the command again and press D for the distance and change it to 2 for the first distance and another 2 for the second distance, and select both of this line, then definitely it will become a triangle. Let's do it again. Let's change it to 1 for the first distance, then let's say 2 for the second distance. Now if I select this for the first line and this one, so as you can see, the distance here is 1, and for the second, the distance is 2. So this is how it would look like. Now, let's do it one more time. And if the distance is larger than the lines, then it would be impossible to execute the command. As you can see, a symbol there is indicated that you cannot chamfer those two lines. Now let's move on with the command fillet, or you might as well type in F or select this button. So let's type in F instead and have a radius of let's say 0, and you select these two lines. Eventually those two lines would be joined together at a 90 degrees angle. As well as with the chamfer, if you use the distance 1 and distance 2 as 0, you can also have this outcome. Now, let's say I want to have a radius which is 2. Then obviously, by selecting these two lines, it would be rounded. And you can use this for making doors, I guess, and corners of sidewalks. Let's make the radius of 1. And there you go. How about if I make the radius larger than those two lines? Then, of course, again, it would be impossible for me to fillet those two lines. But of course, I can fillet it using a smaller radius, but you won't be able to see it unless you zoom it. So that's how you use the command fillet. Now let's move on with the next command by creating a spline in here and click somewhere here for the first pick point and here. Of course, you can also create an arc, and if you want to join these two curved lines, all you need to do is select this command tool, which is blend curves, and pick those two curved lines and it will be joined. And that's how you use the blend curves. Now, as what you can see in here, you have a square, right? And if you want this to be 4 different line segments, all you need to do is type in explode or X, or simply click this button. Let's type in X and select this one, and there you go. You now have 4 different line segments. Now before we go to the next set of tools, let me add this next command, which is not included in the modify tools, but can also be useful in modifying objects. So what I want to do now is to align this square in here. So I'll be typing in L and be selecting this object, and I would click this as my first source point, and that is my first destination point. For the second source point, I'll be selecting this one, and for the second destination point, I would be selecting the midpoint. And this is what will happen if I press spacebar or enter. And of course, I would be pressing no, which is the default in here, letter N. And that's what happens when you use the command align. Now let's do it again one more time and let's see the difference. I'll select this object once again. For the first source point, select in here, this is the second destination point, and this is the second source point and second destination point. Now, I'll be clicking Y instead of N, which means yes. And there you go. As you can see, the second square has been aligned and has been rescaled. And that's how you use the command align. Now, of course, for an additional modified tools, you might as well use ML edit. But before that, let's type in a couple of multi-lines in here. Let's select the ortho mode. And let's select another one in here. And let's copy it at least 2 to 3 times. Let's copy this one. Now, before, you can actually edit this using the extend and trim, but now you can use it. Let's say I want to extend this. I'll be selecting this line and be selecting this line. Now, for the option, I'll choose in close, and that's what will happen. Okay, next, I'll be selecting this again and be selecting that one, the second line, and be selecting open and see the difference. Now for the ML edit, if I type in ML edit, which is similar, this is what you will have. The closed, this is what we did, the closed and the open T. Okay, in which we just use the extend. Now let's try using the trim command. Let's say we move these lines in here, and let's type in TR for trim. Select this one, and we would be selecting this, or rather this one, and select close for the trim. Okay, and once again, let's select this one and select this other one, and let's select open, and you have the same outcome for the closed and open using the trim command. Now for ML edit, if we want to join the corners, all we need to do is select this one, corner joint, and select the other one. And that's how you do it. But if you use the command fillet, let's type in F, select this one and the other one, the command would be disabled. Now, if you want to edit this, all you need to do is first to explode it. Now you can use the command fillet, but unfortunately, of course, for the radius, let's type in 1 or 0 rather. You need to be selecting the lines individually because you have already exploded the lines. So instead, I would be advising you to use the ML edit option and use this corner joint. And that's how you use it. Now let's move this 2 lines and try using the ML edit instead of the trim, because we did use the trim command in here. For this, we did use the extend. Now let's use the ML edit for this portion. ML edit, and let's select cross merged. And this is what you will get. Again, select ML edit, and select, let's say, merge T. And that's how you do it for the ML edit in case you want to modify your multi-lines. Moving on, let's talk about the most commonly used dimension toolbars, starting with the linear toolbar. So let's select this one and select 2 points, which is this one and this one, and you can simply drag the dimension and click it, or you might as well provide a distance, let's say 1, and press spacebar. And that's for the linear dimension. Now, if you want to continue the dimensions all the way down in here, all you need to do is click the continue dimension and pick the points that you want to measure and press spacebar or enter. That's for the continue dimension. Moving on, if you want to have a baseline dimension, simply click this icon, and of course, don't press anything yet. Press the spacebar, then select this portion of the dimension and select this endpoint and press spacebar. Now you have the baseline dimension. What if I want to adjust the space of this dimension from here because it seems to be so close? So I would be picking this icon, which is the dimension space. So I would be selecting this and be picking the base dimension, which is this one. Then of course, select the dimension to space. Let's say this one. And press a space bar. Then put in the value, let's say 0.5. And there you go. This dimension did adjust. Now, what if you want to adjust all of this? So let's press first Ctrl Z and let's pick this one again, the dimension space. Select your baseline dimension. Then select the dimensions to space, which is this one. And remember the window crossing. Select all of it. Press the space bar. Then type in 0.5 for the value. And that's it for the dimension space. Next, if you want to know the dimension of an inclined line, let's select the align and click the 2 points. And there you have it, the dimension for inclined lines. Now, if you want to know the angle of this one, press this icon, which is the angular, and select the two lines that you want to measure the angle, and that's it. Moving on, if you want to know the length of an arc, you might as well select this one, which is the arc length dimension. And for the radius, click radius, click the arc, and there you have the radius. And for the diameter of a circle, select this one, which is the diameter, and there you have the diameter of a circle. Next, if you want to have a quick dimension, let's say I want to measure this instantly, you need to press the quick dimension. Unfortunately, it won't work in here. Nothing will happen. Let's select it and nothing has happened. Why? Because this is a multi-line. So I need first to explode it. Then I can now use the quick dimension and select the line that I want to measure. And that's it for the quick dimension, in which it doesn't work for multi-lines. However, if you want to know a distance of a certain line without producing any dimension lines, just type in DI for distance and select 2 points, and the distance now will appear without having any dimension lines. Next, if you want to stretch a particular dimension, select the dimension itself and simply drag the dimension up or down. But if you want to stretch the dimension as a group, select this one, and as you can see, select stretch dimension group, and you will now be able to stretch all of the dimensions at the same time. In case you want to rotate a text from your dimension, all you have to do is select this one, which is dimension text edit. Click in here and press A for angle, and then for the angle, let's type in 45, and there you go. Now to format a dimension, all of it at the same time, click to format, dimension style, select new, and let's say let's type in 100. Continue. Then let's say the color, let's change it to black, or this one, 251, color 251. And for the extension line, let's change it to 251 as well. And as you can see, the lines now are being changed, the color of it. Let's go to the symbols and arrow. If you want the arrows to be changed, you just select in here. But I think this one is good enough, so let's maintain it as is, including the arrow size and all of the informations in here. Now let's check the text. For the text, it's going to be 0.18. Now let's select align with the dimension line. For the units, for the decimal point, let's click in 2 decimal point. And for the scale factor, since we are using 100, just maintain 1 for the scale factor and press OK. And then close. So, if you're now going to apply the dimension, what you have set will be applied. See the difference? Furthermore, let's talk about the application of dimension towards scaled objects. So let's create first a rectangle in here with the dimension of 2 by 2. And click somewhere here. And you should copy it 3 times and make the last one farthest away. Now I need first to put some text in here so you won't be confused. But I'm just going to fast forward it so that it won't take too much time. Now let's get back. This one is the original drawing. When we apply the existing dimension format, if we measure this, it's going to be 2. Now, let's change all the scales of the remaining 3 squares. So let's type in SC and select here as your base point. And for the drawing scale, it's going to be 0.5. Here, let's click in here. Select this as your base point. The drawing scale would be 2. And as for this one, the drawing scale would be 5. And obviously, the dimensions would actually change, isn't it? Because the object has changed its sizes. But the question is, how do we get the same dimension, which is 2, for all of these drawings? Because we're not changing the measurement, only the scale. So what we need to do now is to go to Format, Dimension Style, and create new dimensions. Okay, let's create new. And here we type in 200 for the this drawing, which is 1:200. Let's press continue. Go to scale factor, which is 2, and press OK. And set current. And close. Now, if I measure this one, this will be now measured as 2. Now, let's create another dimension style again. Format, Dimension Style, new, and let's create 1:50, isn't it? And modify, of course, we have for this scale factor, it's going to be 0.5. And let's press OK. Set current, which is I am selecting 1:50, set current and close. And if I now apply the dimension, it will now be 2. And for the last one, let's go again to format, dimension style, create new. And let's type in 1:20 or just 20. Continue. Then for the modify, the scale factor is 0.2. And set current for the 1:20, set current, close, and apply the dimension. Now you get in the dimension 2. I repeat, for scale 1:100, the drawing scale is obviously 1. You will not do anything, and for the scale factor, it's going to be 1. But let's do it again one more time. Let's copy this. Let's do it one more time. I want to change the sizes of this one, the scale. Okay? Only the scale. Let's type in SC. For the drawing scale of 1:200, it's going to be 0.5. Now, for the drawing scale of 1:50, it's going to be 2. For the drawing scale of 1:20, it's going to be 5. Now, for the dimension style, go to Format, Dimension Style, and click 1:200, modify, and of course, make sure that the primary units of 200 is 2 for the scale factor, and press OK, set current, close, then have a dimension, it's going to be 2. Now, go again to Format, Dimension Style, select 1:100, set current, close, and we all know the scale factor of this is 1. We have the dimension of 2. Let's do it again. Format, Dimension Style, select 1:50, set current, close, and as we all know, the scale factor of 1:50 is 0.5. So when we use the dimension, it's still going to be 2. And lastly, for 1:20, the drawing scale is 5, and go to Format, Dimension Style, set current for the 1:20, close, and click the dimension, linear dimension, and there you go. All of them are measured 2. Although in reality, they have different sizes of drawings. And I hope, guys, you do understand now on how to apply different dimension styles, different scale factors towards different drawing scale. Next, let's talk about layers. So type in LA and right click in here and select new layer. Then press escape. Do it again 4 more times. We have layer 2, press escape. New layer, we have layer 3, then escape. New layer, press escape. Then last one, then escape. Then for the colors, let's change layer 1 to magenta and press OK. layer 2, let's select red. For layer 3, let's select blue. For 4, it's going to be green. And for 5, it's going to be orange. Actually, you can select any colors that you like. I just chose these colors because it actually represents the color of your tech pens. Now for the line type, let's change the line type for layer 2. Let's click this. And because we don't have any loaded line types yet, select load. And let's look for center. And press OK. Then select center and OK. Now it has been changed to center. Next, for layer 3, let's select this one, load, and let's select, let's say, hidden. OK, then select hidden, then OK. Then for layer 4, let's say we load hidden 2. Press OK. Select again hidden 2 and OK. Then for layer 5, let's say we select load, and how about the dash? Dash, where is it? Only the dash. And press OK, then select dashed and OK. And of course, for the line weight, for layer 1, let's select 0.09, which is close to 0.1. And then press OK. For layer 2, you might as well select 0.2. And for layer 3, select 0.3. Layer 4, obviously it's going to be 0.4. And the last one is going to be 0.5. And let's just close this one. Now let's create a couple of lines in here. Let's type in L. And let's check this ortho mode. And let's say the distance is 20. And press enter. Copy it a couple of times. Let's say 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. Then of course, let's select this second line. Then select layer 1. Let's select this one. And select layer 2. Select this one. And select layer 3. And of course, for this one, it's going to be layer 4. And for the last one, it's going to be layer 5. As you can see, they have different line types as you have chosen it. But for some instances, those line types could not be seen because of the scale. You either need to change it on a larger or smaller scale. So we need to type in LTS for line type scale, and let's say we make it larger, type 2. Let's make it larger again, let's type in 5. How about we make it a little bit smaller? Let's select 0.5 and 0.1. See? Just like this one. It seems to be just like the continuous line, but it's not. It's only the line type scale that needs to be changed. So let's put it back again to LTS and 1. Now for the line weight, in order to visualize it, you need to click on the customization and make sure that the line weight is checked. Now that you have it, press this button and it will show the different line weights that you have. Obviously, layer 5 is going to be the thickest, while layer 1 is going to be the thinnest. Now, let's go back to the layers. Type in layers. If I lock this one, which is layer 1, what will happen is, if I delete everything, I select all of it, I won't be able to delete layer 1. It's because, let's press Ctrl C. It's because when we go back to the layers, it means that you cannot edit the layer itself, but you are able to see the layer. And that's the purpose of the lock. However, for the screen and lights on, it's actually almost the same. It only talks about the visibility. Let's say I uncheck layer 5 for the freeze and select in here, you won't be able to see layer 5. But it's there. So even if I delete this one, all of it, let's say I'll select all of it, and we know for the fact that layer 5 is in here, and I deleted all of it, and let's say I'll unfreeze layer 5, it will be there again. So let's press Ctrl C once again. So basically, for the layers, the freeze is the same as the lights on or off. Let's say we off the lights for layer 4, then you won't be able to see layer 4, but it's still there. Now, for the properties, basically, when you select a certain object, this is your properties. It displays the properties of the object. As you can see, if I select this one, it changes color and also the line type, as well as for the other lines. Even the line weight has been changed, including this layer 4. See, it changes. So that's for the properties. Now, if you want to match properties of a certain line, let's say I want this box to be like layer 4. I want this box to acquire the properties of layer 4. All I need to do is go to the quick access toolbar and make sure this match properties is checked. Now, what I need to do is to check this one, match properties, and select the source object, then select the destination object. Now, it will be the same. So, if I go to the layers, and if I freeze or turn off the lights of layer 4, then you can see the square now is not visible because it has the same property of the line, which is the layer 4. Now let's unfreeze and make it visible again. And that's for match properties.